Welcome back, everyone. This is the Hit Mix Show, top hits, classic dance tracks, and with a bit of luck, we should have Peter Ciani on air. Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello,
yes,
yeah.
You are there, Peter. How are you?
Great, Mike, great.
Now, listen, before we talk about a couple of things, I want to tell some of the people a little bit about Peter Ciani. He's the country's foremost Australian vocalist. He's had about 30 up to 35 CDs, successful CDs. Peter has recorded in both here and in Europe, and he's been as something of an ambassador for Australia in his home country, which he loves very much in Australia. And of course, he's been in a music composer, recording, still is, bit of movies, all sorts of things. Welcome to the SWR FM microphone, Peter Ciani. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Tom. You've done your homework.
I have, mate, I have. And it's a privilege having you on air.
It's my privilege, mate. I'm a bit out of date.
Bit out of date. You've just released another CD.
I hope you don't lose the listeners.
No, there's no way we'll lose the listeners. Tell us a little bit about yourself. But I'll tell you what we're going to do, Peter. Before I do that, I'm going to play a song, and you're going to tell me about that song which relates to your life. This is the first track that was big for Peter Ciani in the 60s. If you don't agree, tell me afterwards, Peter. But have a listen first, and we'll come back to Peter Ciani. SWR FM, 7:15.
La 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 Al di là means you are far above me, very far. Al di là, as distant as lovely evening star, where you walk, flowers bloom when you smile, all the gloom turns to sunshine, and my heart opens wide. When you're gone, it fades inside and seems to have died. Al di là del mare più profondo ci sei tu. Al di là dei limiti del mondo ci sei tu. Al di là della volta infinita, al di là della vita, ci sei tu. Al di là, ci sei tu per me. La 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 la. Al di là delle cose più belle, al di là delle stelle, ci sei tu. Al di là, ci sei tu per me, soltanto per me. In the kisses I gave was the love I had saved for a lifetime. Then I knew all of you was completely mine. La 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 la, la 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 la, la la la, Aldila.
That's Mr. Peter Ciani, Adela. That was in the 60s. Tell us about that song. I've got to drag it all out of you, Peter, because I know as a person you won't tell me. So tell the listeners.
Oh, look, I'll tell you about the song. The song won at Sanremo Festival in 1961 with the Luciano Tajoli and Betty Curtis. I picked up that song in 1967. And I entered to Showcase. For those who remember Showcase with Hector Crawford, was on Channel 10. A kind of, I don't know, X Factor or...
Yeah, X Factor voice, something like that in the old days.
Got Talent, yeah, in the olden days. And I won. I was the protagonist for 2 weeks, if you do that song. I won the hit. I got a first prize as from the public, the voters, and from the judges, which I was very proud.
And one thing that the people didn't know, remember, these were the 60s, and it was days where the Italians were coming into the country, and there's lots of things things that are happening today, you see what's happening today, but it was hard times, and in those days, J.O.K., Johnny O'Keefe, Cole Joy, all those guys were number one. Suddenly this artist called Peter Ciani comes out, blows them away, and that went straight across the airwaves, didn't it?
Well, you mentioned people that I dealt with. Johnny O'Keefe, I've written a song with Johnny O'Keefe. I don't think you have, because I was in 1966 when I recorded, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The English version was the Swingaroo. The Johnny was a good mate of mine. I was in all his shows, Saturday Date and Sing on Channel 7, I remember.
Yep, certainly did.
However, back to Aldila, the Aldila was showcase. My part of showcase was 1967. Yeah, Cole Joe and all those. My unfortunately was where has it been now?
Yeah, but listen, what's important to realise about those days is it was virtually unheard of that an Italian coming from Italy putting out a song, and it basically went big, didn't it? It was played everything in all the radio stations everywhere.
It went big in those days, and then of course, because of Showcase of Australia, I had a tour in the same time, and but the song I recorded on an album in 1980, later in the year, in 1985, which that song is that you played, the version that you played is on Italian Favorites Volume 1, which went with a bullet on the Ken Top 100, yeah.
And I remember in those days too, you put out an album called Latin Fever, and boy, was that a hot album.
Latin Fever was afterwards.
That was on the TV shows, yeah.
Which was a JMB TV special. And this song, this particular album that we mentioned before, Italian Favorites Volume 1, was on Telmark, was a TV special, and really was a really, really big hit.
Yeah, and what is important is, because I want to tell the people that it's very important to realise that you haven't stopped doing what you're doing. This is the start when Peter Ciani came over from Italy and was involved in this, but he's still going, and he's very big today. And when you go back to Italy, correct me if I'm wrong, virtually every time you go back, big audiences in live shows and on every TV show across the country. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, for those who may wanted to sort of verify what you just said, can simply go online, go on YouTube, or
and see the YouTube
all
videos.
My albums are represented by Halidon on the iTunes, and there are about 20 albums on. I'm my presence of the 20 albums online. Yeah.
And it's just amazing how much you've done. Look, you're over the world, around the world. You're really known as a music composer too, because you've actually written so many great CDs, so many great songs for people, and people don't even know them.
Don't make me cry now.
It's true, Peter. I'm sorry, but the people need to know how big you are. How big
Dominic,
you are.
Let's face it. Time has changed. Music style has changed. But when I still compose a song as I did, I was in the studio about 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
A track that I think I gave to you, I don't remember. It's called This Is the Land.
Yep, I know the one.
And so I recorded that track, and believe me, that track was, the idea of that track came when I was in my last tour in Sicily, about 3 months ago. And when I got here, I put together and I went to the studio and I recorded. That makes it.
Let me take you back a little bit, because I want people to understand Peter Ciani. At one stage, apart from doing all your tours and everything and being a very big personality and a big artist here in Australia, you owned a record company called Minstrel. Is this correct or not?
Well, Minstrel Records was the musical director of the company, yes.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about the story of Julio Iglesias, because people won't believe it.
Well, Julio Iglesias was on a label, first was with EMI, and then he went to a label in Italy, and there where he started really having a hit, apart from Holland. And Julio, when Sony Music signed him up, they of course sent all over the world. In Australia, I was representing Sony Italiana, and Sony Music called me. He said, we have a guy which they couldn't pronounce the name, and said, come over, we want to show you a movie, a film, a show that he done, and see if you are interested. So I went over, and they showed me all the material, which I was aware of. I knew all about it. And I said, yes, I'm interested, and then I released 6 cassettes and 3 albums.
And at the time, I had a record bar with my brother in an electronics store, and we could not get enough of those albums.
Yep. Yeah, it was great. Then, of course, Sony Music picked it up from me, and they told me kindly, said we gotta make it bigger, all over the places. So fine, but it was good for me. Yeah, it did work. I can say that I was the one who launched Julio in Australia.
That's exactly the words I wanted to say, because without your launch, he would not have been known in this country.
Well, Sony Music wouldn't even pronounce Julio Iglesias. That's the fact. That's the truth.
Yeah, and I know I've seen the picture and about with you and him in the letter, and it's really amazing how much he was appreciative of you promoting his name. Okay,
I come across a picture the other day. A photo of a poor guy that he passed away while I was overseas. Unfortunately, I wasn't here. A very, very, very close friend, for the reason that he became a friend to me. But he was the chairman of EMI when he signed me up in 1963. Yeah. I done my first recording. His name is John Sturman. And then he became opera chairman after EMI. And I came across a picture the other day and said, wow, the poor guy passed away. He was very sick lately. I've seen him about before I left for Italy. But unfortunately, John was a very, very good mate. Unfortunately, he's no longer here.
And as I said, that you haven't stopped growing. So this is the second song, and I'll get you to tell me about it after this. Have a listen. This is Mr. Peter Ciani.
From the valley in the south of Australia to the north in the Barrier Reef, from the corner of Western Australia, these places mean so much to me. From Victoria to Tassie and Queensland, and from Israel where wherever you stand, take a look at this beautiful country of sunshine and golden sand. This beautiful country, this beautiful land, this beautiful country, this beautiful land. Let me show you my city of Sydney. There are wonders that you've never seen. Take a look at this beautiful harbour, and you'll think you are having a dream. There's the spirit of good old Australians. Put on your mate, have a good day. Keep this feeling of being Australian. Keep this feeling with you all the way. This beautiful country, this beautiful land, this beautiful country, this beautiful land. There's the spirit of good old Australian. Put on your mate, have a good day. Keep this feeling of being Australian. Keep this feeling with you all the way. This beautiful country, this beautiful land, this beautiful country, this beautiful land, this beautiful country, this beautiful land, this beautiful country, this beautiful land.
This beautiful country, this beautiful land. Peter Ciani, tell me about that song.
I had an interview at one stage with Pam McMinn on one of the FM station in Sydney, 2RJ, and well, she called me into writing an album of country music, and then I started writing, and this beautiful country came amongst that.
This is
an album which is called Australia's Beautiful Country, and I'm very proud of it, really.
And that is what I'm saying, that the changing of the person, writing music to suit the times. And it did big things too. I remember when it came out, some of the tracks that were picked up off it were pretty amazing at the time.
Well, I'll tell you a little segment. That song was picked up for the Olympic in Melbourne. And it was chosen from Sydney. When it got to Melbourne, got lost.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I only say the fact.
No, that's all right. Now, tell me a little bit about your work. Now, I know for a fact that the Australian government has so much time for Peter Ciani, it's a joke. He's the biggest ambassador of the Italian culture.
Wherever I
overseas.
go, European television, anybody who doesn't believe what I'm saying, they can go on YouTube and just hit Peter Ciani Il Tuo Mondo, and they can see one of the shows that I've done. It's opening with the Opera House and the bridge, our beautiful Bay of Sydney. You know, and that's why I'm an ambassador. So I was nominated as an ambassador.
And you absolutely love this country, don't you? You really.
Oh man, look, mate, 55 years in this country. Of course I do.
Yeah, of course. And I know the heart's in the right place here, and you just love this country, and you want like to promote, especially overseas when you go over to Italy and all those Italian shows, shows you get on Una Mattina and all those, like we call them, the morning
always
shows.
Open with the Bay of Sydney.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to bring to the listeners the composer of music, and to prove to people that you do change with the times. Now, I play a little bit of yourself. I'll play a lot about Sophie Serafino, who used to be not that big here, but overseas, it's fair to say that she's probably one of the biggest acts in Canada today.
She is.
And I'm going to play a track, and then you can tell the people about this track. SWR FM, 99.9, 734.
Look around and see this ain't a joke.
FM 99.9, Peace and Harmony, off an album called Colliding Worlds with Sophie Serafino, and composer of that track was Peter Ciani. How are you, Peter?
Why did you dig those tracks?
Because I know how big they were at the time, and you might even tell the listeners about Joey Green.
Yeah.
I was telling the people
I think that's one of yeah, I love that song. I love it. As a matter of fact, when Sophie heard that song, we were on a cocktail party one night at her place, and she said, "What have you done?" I said, "Well, a few things, you know." And then
a few things.
I played that song to her. The next day, I think I played that song to her, and she straight away said, "Oh, I want that song."
Yeah, and I remember seeing the release of the CD on Rage the very next night. What an awesome CD!
And
awesome.
She really went on. Actually, she did try with another track called "Open Your Heart."
No, I play that a lot. I've been asked for it a few times.
Yeah. And that I just put my two bob in too as a vocal. See, well, see that song is edited by Universal. I don't know what he's been doing, but it's beyond my control.
Well, I tell you what, she's just so big overseas now, isn't she? You really picked a talent there when you introduced me to Sophie Serafino. I said, this lady's going to be a big talent in this country. And then she went overseas, and boy, all they've got to do is Google her.
Should get hold of Sophie's got a beautiful album at the moment out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should get hold of a track. Just reminded me. It's called Elvis the King. Do you have that track?
No, I don't. No.
You haven't got Elvis the King?
No, I don't think I got it.
It's recorded by a Bulgarian artist, very big over there. I've written that song. It's called Elvis the King. It's a beautiful rock. Can be found on YouTube, actually. We put Elvis the King, Charlie Bata, and can be Bata is in Bata.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it can be found that the track is a quite impressive track, yeah.
I think what's important to realise about tonight's interview is that there's so many big artists overseas, and people don't really know unless even though the IT situation now brings these artists to, I've been playing Sophie for a long time, I've been playing for you a long time, unless they actually, but now they can actually Google and have a look at all this online, and then they'll ring me back sometimes in a couple of weeks and say, boy, I listened to that music, and then I saw this, and I didn't know that Sophie was so big. Peter Ciani, how many CDs he put? And it just keeps on going on, and I'm trying to prove to people how big people can be.
Which was released last year this time for Christmas, and I have a 2-track on that album, 2 tracks of mine. It is edited by Halidon Music, and one is called Gesù Bambino, and the other one is called the Ave Maria. And that album, I was looking actually before on YouTube, it's got 1,946,000 streaming.
Amazing.
1,946,000. Yeah, until about 3 months ago, had 1 million and a half.
Yeah. No.
Just looked now, must have been hit now the last month, I think, because Christmas is close.
I'll tell you what else amazes me. I remember a few years ago, and he's doing big things still here. Patrizio came out, and everybody fell in love with Patrizio, saying, oh, this guy's amazing. But, mate, we've had the king of Patrizio here for 30 years, and I tell you, there isn't an Italian person that I know that hasn't got a Peter Ciani CD.
Well, I mean, I probably have sold, not only here, all over the world, I've sold millions probably, but, where they gone, where the money is, I don't know.
But the heart's there, mate, and you're a very, very precious man. Well, you're not a precious man excessively to your time, but you do put time into the things that are important.
I love music.
That's right.
I dedicate it.
You do a lot of shows for a charity, like when Victor Chang was
I have dedicated my life to music, and now the music is not longer my job, because I'm still composing, recording, but I don't do gigs around. But I'm involved in the diversity of charity, doing for those in need.
Yeah, when the late and great Victor Chang was alive, and
I was the first. I'm proud to say that I was the first one to do a charity to do a pro Victor Chang, which was at the Wesley Theatre. I had 1,000 people, and I'm very proud of that clips that I have.
I'll never
some
forget
of those
that.
actually must
I'll never forget that,
somewhere.
Peter. I'll never forget that because we were promoting it on the little station at the time, and Vince Ciani was the MC for that night.
That's right.
And then Vince said, "Now, if you want to go to this show, you can buy the tickets." He says, "Oh, hold on, why buy the tickets? They're all sold out already. No tickets to sale, but we're looking forward to it." I'll never forget Vince.
In those days, Mama Lena was involved with Mama Lena a lot.
Yeah.
And the night was called Arrivederci Roma.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And George Junti was the promoter. He came from New Caledonia. He picked me up and said, "Hey, I've been listening to you from New Caledonia. You got to do a show." I said, "No, I'm not doing shows anymore." "No, you got to do a show." And he took me to the town hall in Sydney, and there was Matthew Carroll with the symphony orchestra and with the youth orchestra, and they played beautiful Albinoni that really was haunting all night. And he said to me, "We're going to do that show." I said, "No, but if you bring me this orchestra," I said, "I will do it." Hey, the next morning he rings me up and he says, "Mate, you got the orchestra you want."
And tell him the orchestra you had.
Matthew Carroll.
That's right.
From SBS.
That's from SBS, one of the biggest.
Youth orchestra,
yeah, that's right. Listen, I'm going to play another track, and this is going to be an interesting one because there's an interesting story to this one also. This is Peter Ciani with a track called Buddy Holly, I Remember. Wait till you hear the story on this one. SWR FM.
Like to play for you, just the way they used to play. I would like to sing again, Sammy Davis, Candyman, just the way he used to sing in those days. Let me be your teddy bear, pretty woman, you're the one, baby love. You're on my mind. Love me tender, you're my everything. Love me true, I know that you're the one. Very soon. Buddy Holly, I remember ancient days. Bobby died, Elvis Presley, the king. Sunny Davis, Saint John Lennon, where have they gone? And that's not all, there was J.O.K. rocking away. I would like to dance with you, just the way they used to dance. They're dancing in the stars, rock around the globe tonight. Let me hear your those guitars play again. Let me be your teddy bear, pretty woman, you're the one. Baby love, you're on my mind. Love me tender, you're my everything. Love me true, I know that you're the one. Very soon. Buddy Holly, I remember, and James Dean. Bobby Darin, Elvis Presley,
Peter Ciani singing Buddy Holly, I Remember. Welcome back, Peter.
Thank you.
And it's fair to say, Peter, before we go on, that virtually every track that you sing in English, you put out an Italian version, so both languages.
Matter of fact, when I used to be an EMI artist, we did 3 albums, and the 3 of them, they are in double, like in English and in Italian, 2 versions.
Amazing.
Yeah. But I just want to tell you something. I'm very disappointed, unfortunately for the time, unfortunately for many, many reasons. But my disappointment comes, and I'll tell you why. I'm disappointed that many people that love my music or love my kind of music, the kind of music I do, they can't get it anywhere for reasons that they don't know how to get on the net to sort of download, and my music is not represented anywhere in any shops.
And you've got to count on people trying to get onto.
What I'm telling you, and it may surprise you maybe because you don't know this. I give anyone, whoever wants any songs that you play in an album, I give it away from now to Christmas time. Free.
Fantastic.
As long as they pick it up, or from here or from your places, whatever, I mean, it's from your the station, the SWR.
Yeah, that's. I appreciate that, Peter. I really do.
Really, I mean, I was thinking just now. I said, why not for the hate? Why? I'm really sorry that many, especially Italian, they love my music. They always have, and they love the kind of music I do, but they can't get it anyway.
And hopefully a lot of those Italians will start to learn the computers a lot more and get to know an IT. Yeah. Now listen, before we started, you would have heard that song, 1,000 Miles Away. Tell the listeners, well, that last one is a special story to that one too, isn't there? So you better tell the listeners about Buddy Holly, I Remember.
Well, Buddy Holly, I Remember, it comes originally, it won an Italian festival at State Theatre.
It's just not an Italian festival. How many thousands of people were there? I remember it well.
Yeah, it was. There was L'Esteromania, the title of the song, and a girl sang.
That's right.
And she won. She won that hit, the festival, and I'm very proud of it. Then, of course, I always do the double version.
Yeah, and you won the composer. You won the award on the night for the composer.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's that one. Let me take you back to the original one in the start because it's an interesting song. That one, 1,000 Miles Away. I know how big it got in Italy. It was so big, and all the morning shows used to have you on air with this one. Tell me who's singing with you, or tell the listeners who's singing with you. 1,000 Miles Away.
Well. Unfortunately, he's not here. He's in Europe. He's sort of settled in Scotland now.
That's right.
Ironically, my son is my son.
He's taken after his father. Let me tell you, a great voice.
So what happened is I've been involved with this international Rai Italy, which shows that goes in 5 continents all over the world. Show is called Cristianità. And so the nun had invited me to go to Rome and sort of appear on the show. So when I went to Rome, with me was my son. So I called Miriam and I said, I'm here. Oh, great, yes, tomorrow you come over tomorrow, send you a car, send you a limousine, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay. I said, but I must tell you, I have my son with me. I said, what he's doing? I said, he's doing what I do. He sings. Great. He said, give me the address and I come. I want to hear him. So she came over. I was in the center of Roma. And she heard both of us, and she said, you're on. So the next day we were there on Rai International, and we sang this 1,000 Miles Away.
And I watched that video so many times. I tell you, he's a talented boy. He's a talented boy. He takes after his father.
I don't know.
Now,
his father loves music, and he does too.
Yeah, he does. And he
said to me, Dad, I will never touch a synthesizer. I play guitar, and whoever wants to play with me has to be an acoustic show.
And I know he loves his dad very much, because the latest CD he put out has a song about his father on it, and we actually played it here on SWR many, many times.
Yeah.
Now,
dear.
Peter, we're almost finished, but I'm going to leave you with one song, and I want to tell you I really do appreciate you giving me your time tonight in regards to
It's my pleasure, but let me emphasize I meant what I said about giving away the music from now to Christmas.
Fantastic. Now listen, I'm going to leave a song. Now I don't want to make it political, because people can listen to the song themselves. I'm going to play Spirit of Australia. Tell me a little bit about Spirit of Australia before you go.
It doesn't need to be explained. It says it all. It says itself.
That's it.
Just play the song.
Okay, Peter. Thank you
Dominic,
very much.
Thank you, SWR.
Yeah,
and thank you all the listeners. Love you all.
And thank you very much for giving me your time, Peter. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Peter Ciani. This is a track off his latest CD, SWR FM 99.9.
Is your story, no matter who you are. If you have made your home under the southern stars, respect the Aussie law and our society, and leave us on Australia with pride and dignity. The spirit of Australia, it's fever in the air. That is the Aussie feeling we also proudly share. The spirit of Australia, we feel it in our heart, no matter where we go. Australia is our home. Whatever is your culture, wherever you come from, if you are black or white, from Europe or Hong Kong, should you be settling here with all your family, behave as an Australian with pride and dignity. The spirit of Australia, it's fever in the air. That is the Aussie feeling we also proudly share. The spirit of Australia, we feel it in our heart, no matter where we roam. Australia is our home. The spirit of Australia, it's fever in the air. That is the Aussie feeling we also proudly share. The spirit of Australia, we feel